माननीय सभासदों, आदरणीय अध्यक्ष महोदया,
we will start with first item in the list of business, which is oath or affirmation. Secretary General, please proceed.
Yes, Ms. Anjali, who stands elected from the Dispur constituency of Assam, will now take the oath or affirmation. Madam, do you want to take oath or affirmation?
Oath, please.
In which language would you like to take the oath?
In English, please.
I, Anjali, having been elected a member of House of the People, do swear in the name of God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter.
Ms. Ronak, from the Bikaner constituency of Rajasthan, will now take the oath or affirmation. Madam, do you want to take oath or affirmation?
Oath, please.
In which language would you like to take the oath?
In Hindi, please.
मैं रौनक पैरवा जो युवा संसद की सदस्य निर्वाचित हुई हूँ, ईश्वर की शपथ लेती हूँ कि विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति श्रद्धा रखूंगी, देश की प्रभुसत्ता और एकता को बनाए रखूंगी तथा जिस पद को मैं ग्रहण करने वाली हूँ उसके कर्तव्य का श्रद्धापूर्वक निर्वाह करूंगी।
Varanasi constituency of Uttar Pradesh will now take the oath or affirmation. Sir, do you want to take oath or affirmation?
Oath, please.
In which language would you like to take the oath?
In English, please.
I, Jayesh, having been elected a member of House of the People, do swear in the name of God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter.
Mr. Ashdeep, who stands elected from the Amritsar constituency of Punjab, will now take the oath or affirmation. Sir, do you want to take oath or affirmation?
Oath, please.
In which language would you like to take the oath?
In Punjabi, please. मैं अर्शदीप सिंह जो युवा संसद की लोकसभा का सदस्य निर्वाचित हुआ हूँ, मैं शपथ लेता हूँ कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति श्रद्धा ते निष्ठा, प्रभुसत्ता ते एकता बनाए रखांगा, नाल ही जिस पद में मैं ग्रहण करने वाला हूँ उसका श्रद्धापूर्वक निर्वहन करूँगा।
Will be very fruitful to both the house and the country. Honorable members, as we meet today, it's my sad duty to inform the House of the demise of former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. He was the longest serving Prime Minister of Japan. He was born on 21st September 1954 and died on 8 July 2022. His most famous policy was the economic policy, which were famously known as Abenomics. He was instrumental in strengthening the India-Japan bilateral relations. His contribution had been recognized by awarding him the Padma Bhushan in 2021 and the Netaji Award in 2022.
सभासदों, मैं श्री शिंजो आबे जी के निधन पर गहन शोक व्यक्त करता हूँ। भारत ने एक विश्वसनीय मित्र खोया है। जापान के सहयोग से हो रहे भारत विकास कार्यों के जरिए मेरे मित्र जन मन में कई वर्षों तक बसे रहेंगे। अंत में मैं पुनः मेरे मित्र और जापान के पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री श्री शिंजो आबे जी को सादर श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूँ।
About the premises of Shinzo Abe. He was my great friend as well as my nation's friend. He was inspiration for younger generation. He motivated many youths. He believed that youth are the resources whose utility is highest and precious. He was an economist and helped India in its technological advancement. And I want to say, may his soul rest in peace.
Yes, madam.
Prime Minister, to introduce new ministers.
मैं आपसे और आपके द्वारा इस सदन से मेरे साथ जुड़े नए साथियों का परिचय करवाना चाहता हूँ। मेरे साथ श्री तेजपाल वस्त्र उद्योग मंत्री, श्री पुनीत सड़क सुरक्षा एवं परिवहन मंत्री, सुश्री पूजा पर्यटन मंत्री, सुश्री कशिश सामाजिक न्याय एवं अधिकारिता मंत्री।
Next item in the list of business today, the question hour commences. Question number 101, Miss Shreya.
मैं सरकार की तकनीकी विकास तथा सूचना प्रौद्योगिकी के क्षेत्र में गैर जिम्मेदाराना व अजवाबदेह कार्यशैली पर निम्न प्रश्न पूछना चाहती हूँ। प्रश्न संख्या क, सरकार आधार पंजीकरण के नाम पर जनता की हर छोटी से छोटी जानकारी को डिजिटल मूर्त रूप प्रदान कर रही है, परंतु जनता की गोपनीय तथा अति महत्वपूर्ण जानकारी की डेटा सुरक्षा हेतु सरकार ने क्या प्रयास किए? प्रश्न संख्या ख, सरकार स्किल इंडिया, डिजिटल इंडिया, आत्मनिर्भर भारत इत्यादि नवीन जन कल्याणकारी योजनाएं लागू तो कर रही है, परंतु जनता तक योजनाओं के प्रत्याक्षीकरण के लिए सरकार ने कौन कौन से कार्य किए? धन्यवाद।
विपक्ष के द्वारा सरकार की कार्यशैली व जवाबदेही पर लगाए गए गंभीर आरोपों के प्रत्युत्तर में मैं कहना चाहता हूं कि हमारी सरकार जनता को डाटा सिक्योरिटी व साइबर सुरक्षा उपलब्ध करवाने के लिए पूर्णतः प्रतिबद्ध है। सरकार इस आधुनिक तकनीकी युग में प्रत्येक भारतीय नागरिक, चाहे वह कश्मीर के बर्फीले पहाड़ों में हो या कन्याकुमारी के समुद्र तट में, चाहे वह राजस्थान के रेगिस्तान में हो या असम की ऊंची घाटियों में, प्रत्येक भारतीय नागरिक को इंटरनेट कनेक्टिविटी से जोड़ना मेरा प्रथम लक्ष्य है। साथ ही मैं सदन के माध्यम से सहर्ष बताना चाहता हूं कि वर्ष 2012 तक मात्र, महोदया गौर फरमाइए, मात्र 17 करोड़ लोग यानी सिर्फ 12% जनसंख्या है इंटरनेट से जुड़ी थी, परंतु नीति आयोग की नवीनतम रिपोर्ट के अनुसार वर्तमान में 110 करोड़ लोग यानी 85% जनसंख्या इंटरनेट से जुड़ चुकी है। साथ ही महोदय इसी वर्ष हमारी सरकार ने 970 आईटी मॉनिटरिंग सेल्स व साइबर हेल्प टीम्स का गठन किया है ताकि जनता साइबर क्राइम से मुक्त व डाटा सुरक्षा से युक्त हो सके। महोदय मैं सदन के माध्यम से भारतीय लोकतांत्रिक गणराज्य के इतिहास की सबसे महत्वपूर्ण घोषणा करना चाहता हूं कि हमारी सरकार इसी माह 5 सितंबर को डेटा प्रोटेक्शन बिल 2022 लागू करेगी, जिसमें किसी भी इंटरनेट ऐप सेवा प्रदाता को उपयोगकर्ता की बिना अनुमति के उसकी गोपनीय जानकारियों का एक्सेस करने पर रोक लगाने का प्रावधान है। यह निर्णय भारतीय लोकतांत्रिक गणराज्य व इंटरनेट जगत में मील का पत्थर साबित होगा। साथ ही इन सब बातों को सुनकर मुझे गीत के बोल याद आते हैं जो कुछ इस प्रकार है। छोड़ो कल की बातें, कल की बात पुरानी, नए दौर में लिखेंगे मिलकर नई कहानी, हम हिंदुस्तानी, हम हिंदुस्तानी।
Master Sanjay.
I want to ask the government stand on how many Kendriya Vidyalayas there are in India and abroad. And I want to ask the admission rule in different classes in this school. And my next question is, are these rules strictly followed? Thank you, madam.
Mr. Speaker, Madam, through you, I would like to remind the House that Kendriya Vidyalaya are a big part of our education system. This organization started with 20 regimental schools in 1963, and as December 2021, there are total 1,252 schools, in which 1,249 are in India and 3 are in overseas nation. Now, coming on to the rules, Madam, a child must be 6 years old as per NEP 2020 on 31st March in the academic year in which admission is sought for class first. Madam, 15% seats for scheduled castes and 7.5% seats for scheduled tribes and 27% seats for other backward classes will be reserved in all fresh admissions in all Kendriya Vidyalayas, and Madam, 3% seats of total available seats for differently able category. Madam, fresh admission for class 10th and 12th other than KV students will be entertained subject to availability of vacancies. Madam, such admissions will be entertained subject to availability of vacancies. Such admissions of class 10th and 12th will be considered by the Deputy Commissioner of the region concerned only if the average strength of the class 10th and 12th is below 40. The child should have been in the same academic course of studies, that is in CBSE affiliated school. And finally, I would like to say that yes, these rules are strictly being followed as there are no major complaints by parents and children in any social media and official concerns. Thank you.
Miss Khushi.
Speaker, Madam, as there are many disabled people who are poor in our country. So my question is, A, what are the schemes launched by the government for the Divyangs to make them financially stable? B, what are the steps taken by the government for disabled children's education?
Honorable Speaker, Madam, first of all, I am glad that these type of questions are coming up in the Parliament. Madam, I would like to tell everyone that in Indian citizens, people with 40% or more disability and age above 18 years can apply for loan under NHFDC scheme for self-employment. In case of mental retardation, age is relaxed to 14 years from 18 years. As well as pension is payable to each person, ₹1,000 to 40% to 70% of disability and ₹2,000 for more than 70% of disability. Madam, the scheme is governed and regulated by the RTF. It ensures the entitlement of free and compulsory elementary education, access to schools and barrier-free access for all children with disability. Thank you.
माननीय अध्यक्ष, न मस्जिद की बात हो न शिवालों की बात हो, प्रजा बेरोजगार है, पहले निवालों की बात हो। मेरी नींद को दिक्कत न भजन से है न आजान से है, मेरी नींद को दिक्कत तो मरते हुए जवान और खुदकुशी करते हुए किसान से है। माननीय अध्यक्ष, मैं आपके माध्यम से किसानों की समस्या, बढ़ती आत्महत्याओं के मामलों को मद्देनजर रखते हुए कृषि मंत्री से ये जानना चाहूंगी कि किसानों की लगातार बढ़ती समस्याओं के लिए क्या नीतियां बनाई गई हैं एवं क्या कर्ज माफी ही किसानों की समस्याओं का असली समाधान है।
Farmers Welfare, Miss Supriya.
सभापति महोदया, मैं आपके माध्यम से संसद को इस बात से अवगत कराना चाहूंगी कि हमारी सरकार किसानों की स्थिति में सुधार के लिए लगातार प्रयास कर रही है, जिसमें प्रमुख है विशेष फसलों के लिए सॉइल हेल्थ कार्ड योजना, फसल बीमा योजना, किसान क्रेडिट कार्ड योजना एवं कम ब्याज पर कर्ज देने की व्यवस्था। साथ ही एमपीए हो चुके 1 लाख किसानों का कर्ज माफ किया गया, जिससे करोड़ों किसानों को फायदा पहुंचा। महोदया, इस योजना का उद्देश्य किसानों की आय में वृद्धि करना है। इसके अलावा यह योजना इससे सरकार को 1031 करोड़ रुपए के नुकसान का सामना करना पड़ा, जिसका भुगतान सरकार द्वारा बैंक से लोन देकर किया गया। महोदया, पिछली सरकार ने 50% फसल बर्बादी पर भी केवल 30% मुआवजा दिया, जबकि हमारी सरकार ने 33% फसल नष्ट होने पर भी 100% मुआवजा दिया। महोदया, कर्ज ही किसानों की समस्याओं की जड़ है, इसीलिए मैं ऐसा सोचती हूँ कि कर्ज माफी से किसानों को काफी हद तक राहत दी जा सकती है। परंतु विपक्षी दल ने केवल किसानों के कर्ज माफ करने पर प्रश्न उठाया। किसानों के परिश्रम से राजनीति करने वालों कभी लहराती हुई फसलों पर भी नजर उठाकर डालो। धन्यवाद।
कृषि एवं किसान कल्याण मंत्री से यह जानना चाहूंगी कि जैविक खेती को बढ़ावा देने के लिए एवं किसानों को आर्थिक सहायता देने के लिए सरकार द्वारा क्या कदम उठाए गए।
मैं आपके माध्यम से संसद में सभी को यह बताना चाहूंगी कि हमने परंपरागत कृषि विकास योजना के अंतर्गत मिट्टी की उर्वरता को एक विशेष प्रकार का बढ़ावा दिया है। परंपरागत कृषि विकास योजना 2022 के माध्यम से किसानों को जैविक तरीके से खेती करने के लिए आर्थिक सहयोग भी प्रदान किया गया है। महोदया, आर्थिक सहयोग के रूप में 31,000 रुपए प्रति एकड़ 3 वर्षों के लिए भी प्रदान किए गए हैं, जिसमें उर्वरकों, कीटनाशकों, बीजों आदि की खरीद के लिए आर्थिक सहयोग प्रदान किया गया है। महोदया, परंपरागत कृषि विकास योजना का उद्देश्य जैविक खेती को बढ़ावा देना है। इसके अलावा यह योजना किसानों के लिए लाभकारी है एवं इससे किसानों की आय में भी वृद्धि होगी। धन्यवाद।
Question number 105, Ms. Soumya.
Honorable Speaker Madam, it is always the minorities that hold the key of progress. Almost always the creative, dedicated minority has made the world better. For the minorities to be treated equally, they need to be provided with equal education opportunities. Keeping that in mind, Honorable Speaker Madam, through you I would like to ask the Minority Affairs Minister that what is the government doing to help the candidates from minority religious communities to prepare well for prestigious competitive exams like UPSC, SSC and SPSC in the country? And what is the eligibility criteria for the candidates? Thank you.
Minister of Minority Affairs, Ms. Planchal.
Madam, through you, I would like to inform the House that we have implemented the scheme of Nai Udan for support to minority students for preparation of main examination. The objective of the scheme is to provide financial support to the minority candidates to adequately equip them to compete for appointment to civil service. Madam, there are certain criteria for eligibility of candidates for the scheme. Firstly, the candidate should belong to one of the minority communities notified under Section 2C of the National Commission for Minorities Act 1992, which are Muslims, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Parsis. They should have passed the prelim exams conducted by UPSC, SPSC or SSC. Secondly, the total family income of the candidates from all sources should not exceed rupees 8 lakh per annum. Lastly, the financial support can be availed by a candidate only once. The candidate will not be eligible to benefit from any other similar scheme of central or state governments or UT administrations. The eligible candidates have to apply online. Every year, up to 5,100 candidates are provided money under the scheme throughout the country. For UPSC examination, an amount of rupees 1 lakh is provided. For SPSC gazetted, an amount of rupees 50,000 is provided. For SSC and SPSC graduate level non-gazetted, an amount of rupees 25,000 is provided. Thank you.
Number 106, Ms. Niharika.
Madam, my question is for the Finance Minister. As the present economical crisis seen in the neighboring country of India, Sri Lanka and Pakistan, the same threat of economical crisis is posing on India also.
as the GDP is constantly decreasing and inflation is attaining new heights. So, the Finance Minister will be pleased to state the measures taken by the government to safeguard our country from such an economical threat. Thank you.
Finance, Mr. Aryan Raj.
To you, I would like to thank the Honourable Member for bringing such a critical issue to the floor of the House. Madam, India is also not untouched by the effect of market in Sri Lanka and Pakistan economy. The effect of market is also been reflected on Indian economy. Madam, the source went on to say that 7%. Madam, 7% decline in Indian rupee value as compared to US dollar this year was not worrisome and RBI and government are confident of managing this problem. Madam, the economic condition of our country is better than other countries because of our government positive policies and reserve and forced foundation. Madam, government has taken many steps to overcome this situation. Like the government effort is to attract investors to financial market with the help of RBI and SCBI. Ma'am, an import fund of rupees 500 crore is also being created to control prices. Thank you, madam.
Sudden surge in the suicide rate of farmers due to indebtedness. A. What are the steps the government has taken to curb this menace? B. Why does the government not pull out the resources for the welfare of indebted farmers by loan waivers? Thank you, madam.
Indeed a grave concern for the entire country, and the government of India is taking sincere steps to ensure the well-being of farmers. Madam, the incessant demand of opposition is superficial and they are raising this just for their own political agendas. There are several reasons for the death of farmers like inclement of weather, family issue, impotency, etc. And these reasons are backed by the report of NCRB 2017. Madam, to help farmers, government has introduced crop insurance and interest-free loan so that we can ensure the development of farmers. Madam, we are also focusing on technology-intensive farming and we have collaborated with many technologically advanced countries in order to tackle the problems of our food provider. Lastly, in the floor of the House, I pledge to end the woeful plight which are creating hell for our food providers. Thank you, madam.
Ms. Neha. We all know that India is one of the most developing countries in the world. But the development, there is less change in perception on sports and games. Sports are thought out to be just as physical activity. But sports are much more than playing a mere role of physical activity and has its own importance for the overall growth of the students. Therefore, I will be pleased to Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports to state whether the Union government has taken any measure to develop the sports and sports institution in the country. If so, the details thereof. And whether the Union government provide funds to various states to develop sports infrastructure. Please provide the details. Thank you, madam. Affairs and Sports, Master Jewel.
First of all, I would like to say thank you to the Member of Parliament for bringing up such a good question to the House. A. Madam, through you, I would like to inform the House that while sports being a state subject, primary responsibility for promotion and development of sports is of states or union territories government. Central government supports efforts of our state or union territories government by providing assistance to national sports federations or by providing assistance to expert training facilities through Sports Authority of India. Government of India has also launched Khelo India scheme in October 2017 for mass participation and promotion of excellence across the country. B. Yes, the central government provides funds for sports events and bridging games infrastructure and sports infrastructure under Khelo India scheme to supplement efforts of the states. Ministry has decided to establish 1,000 Khelo India centers across the country, out of which 360 Khelo India centers have been notified. Government has allocated a total of rupees 3,062.60 crore budget for union sports, out of which rupees 974 crore is for Khelo India scheme. Thank you, Speaker Madam.
So next question, question number 108, Ms. Savita.
To keep the body
keep the body in good health is a duty, otherwise we shall not be able to keep the mind strong and clear. Respected Speaker Madam, through you I would like to inform the House that two reports from the Institute for Competitiveness, which is India's chapter of Global Network, released by Union Health Minister on India's COVID-19 developed administration journey. So my question for Health Minister is, what strategy was used in India for vaccine development? Thank you.
Welfare, Ms. Saroj.
Madam, through you, I would like to inform the House that the report stated two strategies that the government adopted for its vaccine development. The first was support of rupees 100 crore provided from PM CARES Fund for the development of an indigenous vaccine. And the second was allowing Indian pharmaceutical companies to collaborate with global candidates for clinical trials in the country. The two vaccines whose maximum number of doses were used in India are indigenously developed Covaxin by Bharat Biotech and Covishield, which was developed in Serum Institute of India in association with Oxford. Thank you, Madam.
Matter I want to take in the House. As on 11th April at the Deoghar district of Jharkhand, an unfortunate road accident occurred, which could have resulted in a big mishappening. On that day, around 70 tourists were stuck for about 40 hours in only 15 cable cars. Seeing the intensity of the incident, I would like to ask to the Honorable Home Minister that what are the relief provisions provided by the government to the victims of the incident, and what government measures are there to ensure and stop such types of incident in future.
May give you notice along with a copy of newspaper cutting, and I shall consider it. You can't spring a surprise on me like this. I have already
Lay on the table a copy of annual report Indian English version of a Power Group Development and Export Promotion Council, Mumbai, for the year 2020-21 along with educated accounts. Second, a copy of a review Indian English version by the Government of Working of the Power Group Development and Export Promotion Council, Mumbai, for the year 2020-21. Thank you.
अध्यक्ष महोदय, मैं आज की कार्यसूची में मेरे नाम के आगे सीमा प्रबंधन रिपोर्ट वर्ष 2021-22 हिंदी व अंग्रेजी संस्करण में 2021-22 के लिए जारी की गई सीमा प्रबंधन नीतियों पर सरकार द्वारा की गई समीक्षा की एक प्रति 2021-22 हिंदी व अंग्रेजी संस्करण में व अन्य उल्लेखित कागजों को सभा पटल पर रखता हूँ। धन्यवाद।
I rise to lay on the table of the House a copy of fiscal policy of government and government plan for taxation and spending in coming financial year in English and Hindi. Thank you, madam.
And family welfare, Ms. Saroj.
Honorable Speaker Madam, I have actually on the table a copy of each of the following paper under subsection 619A of the Companies Act 1950. Review by the government on the working of the State Health Corporation of India Limited, New Delhi for the year 2021 and 22. Thank you, madam.
Minority Affairs, Ms. Pranjal.
Now on the table, a copy of each of the following annual reports in English and Hindi under National Commission for Minorities Act 1992. First, data showing growth of minority communities in high-position government jobs in the years 2020 to 21. Second, increased participation of minority communities in examinations like UPSC, SPSC and SSC in the years 2020 to 21. Thank you.
Prism, Ms. Pooja.
With your permission, Honorable Speaker Madam, I rise to lay on the table of the House the paper mentioned against my name at serial number 6. The following copies are the copy of the reviewed Hindi and English version by the Government of the National Museum, Institute of History of Art, Conservation and Museology, New Delhi for the year 2021-2022. The copy of the Memorandum of Understanding Hindi and English versions between the Indian Tourism Development Corporation Limited and the Ministry of Tourism for the year. Thank you.
Social Justice, Ms. Cassis.
To lay on the table of the House the paper against my name, a copy of each of the following annual reports in English and Hindi under Social Justice and Empowerment. First, Schemes launched for financially unstable Divyang. Second, steps taken for disabled children's education. Thank you.
Minister of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Ms. Supriya.
सम्मानीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, मैं आपकी अनुमति से आज की संशोधित कार्य सूची में अपनी अनुक्रमांक 8 के साथ उल्लेखनीय कागजात हिंदी व अंग्रेजी संस्करण, जिसमें परंपरागत कृषि विकास योजना एवं किसानों की समस्याओं के समाधान के लिए सरकार द्वारा उठाए गए कदमों का चित्रण सभा पटल पर रखती हूँ।
आपकी अनुमति से मैं आज की कार्यसूची की क्रम संख्या 9 पर अपने नाम के आगे उल्लेखनीय कागजात, जिसमें वर्ष 2022-23 के लिए सड़क सुरक्षा उपायों और परिवहन नीतियों पर सरकार द्वारा की गई समीक्षा की एक प्रति हिंदी और अंग्रेजी संस्करण में सभा पटल पर रखता हूँ।
Now let's move on to the next item in the list of business is the message from the upper chamber. Secretary General to report message from upper chamber of Youth Parliament.
Madam, I have to report the following message received from the Secretary of the Upper Chamber of Youth Parliament. In accordance with the provisions of rules and of procedure and conduct of business in the Upper House of Youth Parliament, I am directed to enclose a copy of the Payment of Gratuity Bill 2020, which has been passed by the Upper Chamber at its sitting held on 22nd March 2020.
Secretary to lay on the table a copy of bill as passed by the upper chamber.
Madam, I lay on the table of the House the Payment of Gratuity Amendment Bill 2020 as passed by the upper chamber.
Honorable members, I have to make an important announcement. On my behalf and on the behalf of the honorable members of the House, I have a great pleasure in extending warm welcome to the honorable members of the USA delegation. Master Vipul, President of Senate, Ms. Roshni, Speaker of the House, Master Meet Joshi, House Minority. It's a very high-powered delegation. The delegation arrived on Friday, 26th August 2022. They are now seated in the special box. We wish them a very happy and fruitful stay in our country. We also convey our warm greeting and very best wishes to them, to her, United States Congress and the government and the friendly people of USA. Honorable members of Law and Justice, Ms. Lakshita to introduce the Bill of Minority Law of Minority.
The Central Vigilance Commission Amendment Bill 2021, a bill further to amend the Central Vigilance Commission Act 2003, budget enacted by the Parliament in the 73rd year of the Republic of India as follows. First, this act may be called the Central Vigilance Commission Amendment Act 2021. It shall be deemed to have come into force on the 14th day of November 2021. Second, in Section 25 of the Central Vigilance Commission Act 2003, in Clause D, the following provisions shall be inserted, namely, provided that the period for which the Director of Enforcement holds the office on his initial appointment may in public interest on the recommendation of the committee under Clause A and for the reasons to be recorded in writing be extended up to 1 year at a time. Provided further that no such extension shall be granted after the completion of a period of 5 years in total, including the period mentioned in the initial appointment. Third, the Central Vigilance Commission Amendment Ordinance 2021 is hereby repealed. Notwithstanding such repeal, anything done or any action taken under the Central Vigilance Commission Amendment Ordinance 2021 shall be deemed to have been done or taken under the provisions of this Act. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those who are against, say no.
No.
I think ayes have it. Ayes have it. I think ayes have it. So adopted. Now the House is adjourned to meet again at tomorrow 11 a.m.